Okay, so hello, Dylan Cummings here for Rollt.Magazin, we're here with this roundtable previewing Spain's Division of Honour. With me here today are four of the biggest names in the Division of Honour. We have Choudhry from Albacete, Jannik Blair from Bilbao, Hollermann from Gran Canaria, and from Ilunion, there's only one, Bywater. So we're here today previewing the Division of Honour. First question I've got for you guys is, how are you doing? Jannik, we'll start with you.
Good, very good, Dylan. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to come on board. We love what you do and love, I guess, building up a bit of hype for the season. So, yeah, I'm well. I'm back in Spain. Obviously, the last couple of months, the last 6 or 7 months have been a little bit out of the ordinary. Obviously, our season finished in March. I went back to Australia, as a lot of people did. Went back to their home countries for the sort of quarantine period and the lockdown period, and then made the decision about a month ago to come back to Spain. My intention during the entire lockdown period was always to come back. The last month or the last couple of weeks before I had to make the decision to come back, it was kind of a little bit up in the air just with how things were going. Things were getting a lot better in Australia, coronavirus-wise, and getting a lot worse in theory in Europe. That's what you see on the media. So it was kind of a little bit up in the air last minute, but in the end I decided to come, and I'm stoked that I did. So training's been good. We've had a few practice matches, and we're excited to get started against Gaz's boys on the weekend.
That's good, man. And then, like you mentioned, I think you're the only one on this call that's actually had a preseason game against Jannik. Fairly comfortable win for you there. So just talk us through how that went, and then your preparations for Albacete coming up.
Yeah, we actually had two more this weekend. We had Jannik again yesterday, won by another comfortable margin, and then today we played Vitalid and won. I think it was a narrow 6-point win. So they're a little bit more competitive. They've got a pretty talented team, I'd say, individually wise. It's just a matter of whether they play together as a team. I think they could be pretty successful. Today they didn't play super well together because I think the majority of their team is new and they're fairly individualistic. But it was good to get a good hit out against another quality opposition and to get us ready for Albacete on Saturday at home.
That's good, man. And then what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, like you mentioned before, you're one of the few Australians that have come back to Europe. What sort of was that? What made you make that decision to come back? What was the defining factor?
No, I don't know. I love, I guess, Europe in general, European basketball, playing in Spain. It's where me personally, where I identify as being is here, where I see the most benefit out of my life in this moment is being in Spain and playing in the Spanish league, particularly when I saw some of the new signings that were happening around the league, a bit of movement around the league when Alejandro went to Albacete, and with Ilunion signing Greg and Jake, and with Badhoff signing Matt. There was just a lot of movement in the league. An already strong league from last year was going to get stronger. I didn't want to miss out on that. I knew it was going to be a risk coming over, but I'd rather take that risk and lose out than play the safe option, stay at home in Australia and have to watch all this great basketball getting played and not being able to take part in it. That was basically my mindset. So at the moment, I'm happy with it. So long as things keep going as they're scheduled to go, then I think it was the right decision, because it's going to be a pretty special year, I think.
Yeah, and like you say, like the Spanish league, many people see it as the best league in the world, and it's gotten stronger. We'll talk a bit about that later on. But next, we'll go to Gaz. Gaz, how's your pre-season gone so far? And I understand you've been rehabbing an injury, so just talk about that.
Yeah, mate. It's been good. We've not had any games. I think that's been the strange thing from the pre-season perspective. We've had a lot of turnaround. We've got 5 new players this year as well, compared to last year. So we've had a lot of movement, but it's been good. We've kind of been training as a team for just under a month since we've been allowed, and it's been good. And personally, it's been slow. I had a pretty major surgery in the off season to repair my wrist. I ended up playing kind of like back half of the season last year with two of the three ligaments in my wrists completely torn. So it was tough. King's Cup was tough with cortisone injections and everything else every couple of weeks just to play. So it was good to get that taken care of. So the rehab is good. We'll see where it's at in the week and if I'm allowed to play right at the start of the season. So that'll be good.
Yeah, good man. And then obviously with this time in lockdown and a bit of downtime, do you think that's helped the injury?
Yeah, I mean, it's lucky to be dead real. I don't think I would have completed the season. Sort of post the last two games, the league games after the King's Cup were just terrible. I think I would have probably shut down a week or two later at most. So it sounds terrible, but it was a blessing in disguise in that way. I'd been putting off this surgery for the past sort of 4 years. So it was good to just, get that sorted.
That's good, man. And great to hear that you're on the mend. Next, we'll go to Rose. Rose, I understand that you've been in America for a bit during lockdown, and now you're back in Spain. So just first of all, how are you, and how's your pre-season gone in Gran Canaria?
Hey, I went back to the States during the summer, which was actually really nice for me because I'm super close with my family. So getting to hang out and be with them for a longer period, I think that was the first time I had been home for longer than 2 weeks since I was maybe 14 years old. So it was definitely a blessing. Preseason's great. It's always really, really nice to be here on the island, getting a little bit tan. You can't really tell, but I swear I am. And we've been practicing, I think, for 5 weeks now together. We just got a full squad back. Jorge came a little bit after the rest of us, and we're having fun training a lot and love being here.
That's great to hear. Thanks for that, Rose. Next, we'll move on to Terry. Terry, you've been lucky enough to be in lockdown with your family in Madrid. So, first of all, how are you? How's lockdown been, and how's pre-season going?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's been a very strange time. It's been tough. The lockdown for me personally was very challenging. Obviously, it was the first time for me and the first time for everyone that my life completely changed. I was lucky enough to have, obviously, Jody and Benjamin here with me. But, here in Spain, obviously not being able to leave the house and not being able to do your daily routine was challenging. It was tough. When we got to the stage where I was training inside the house, lifting up the sofas, lifting up the chairs, trying to do anything possible to try and stay in shape. So, it was challenging. It was a difficult time because, that was for us here in Spain, that was the moment of the season because we were leading up to the Euro Cup and stuff like that towards the end of the season and just got completely finished. So it was a strange time, very strange time. But now, we're back training. We've been training for about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. We've had no friendly games. That's been quite strange because every single year we have a lot of friendlies leading up to the season. So obviously we're just training between us as a group, going up and down as much as possible, trying to stay match fit, so to speak. But, I think, honestly, as an athlete, I still think we're a million miles away because, to have that much off during the season, and now it's been, for a number of us, 6-7 months where we didn't jump in a wheelchair and go up and down a basketball court. You've just got to go back to fundamentals and start from scratch, so to speak. So, it'll be an interesting start to the season for sure.
Yeah, that's great to hear, man. And then next question, I'll start with you this time, Terry. What's your team's strengths been leading up to this season, and what has your team improved since last season? And then, if you could just talk about this in sort of a general sense, and then we'll talk about your club's new signings a bit later on.
Yeah, I mean, we're a complete different team this season. I think Ilunion have been known for us being big, always playing with 3 or 4 big on the floor all the time, and that's completely changed. So it's going to be challenging for us. We're a completely new, different team. We're going to play a whole different style of basketball. We're not as big as we used to be, so we have to obviously have a different style of play. And it's going to be challenging for us. It's going to be different for us because for the past 6, 7, 8 years even, we played a certain way, and now we can't play that way no more. So it's going to be a test for us. I mean, you know, over the years we've got the job done. We've done pretty well for us during the seasons and the King's Cup, making the last 4 or 5 finals in Euro Cup. So I don't know. We're going to have to see. It's going to be a bit of a. I wouldn't say we have to be patient, because obviously we're going to get going next week and we have to start off as best as possible. But I think it's going to be a different Ilunion this year, and hopefully that might work out good for us, because you know people won't know what we're about. We're a different look. We have different units. You know, we signed Greg, we signed Jake. We've got more shoes on the floor. We're not as big, obviously, but I think that could benefit us.
And yeah, like you say, like it'll change up. Like you say, teams will not know what to expect, and also it's good for like guys like yourself who's been there for years, and you know, a change in style, a change in the way you play. It's I suppose it's good. It's like almost like a refreshed team, basically.
Yeah, I think it's great for everyone. I think it's great for me personally. You know, I've been here a long time. We've played that certain style for a number of years. I think it's good for the new guys that are coming to the group. I think it's good for the club. We've got a whole different style of basketball, and you know, and it's going to be different for the league, because the league seers has always been big. We've had players in the past, Alejandro, Rodney, you know, Amadou, Pablo, Bill. We've always been a big team, and this year we're not. So it's going to be a different style, and hopefully that can work in our favour, so to speak, because you know people are not going to know what we're about. They're not going to know our style of play, how we're going to play. So fingers crossed, it's gonna work out for us, and fingers crossed we'll win the league again and get another King's Cup under our belt. But yeah, like I say, it's gonna be a challenge, because the league this year is crazy. You know, some of the teams now, Medebra and Bilbao, Albacete, Canarias, like the league is just so strong. But yeah, I guess we're starting from scratch, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's great to hear, Terry. Thank you very much. Rose, we'll go to you next. Canaria's had a great season last season, actually, especially in like Champions Cup. You made the quarterfinals for the first time. You were seen as the underdogs, I think it's fair to say. So what are your team's strengths for this season, and what have you improved since last season?
Yeah, I definitely think last year was a historic season for us. So I think just our general energy is just trying to feed off of that and keep that ball rolling. I think we also like have a sense of pressure to keep succeeding and doing well, which is always nice to have. I would say our team's strengths are definitely, we're like a young group of athletes that are always wanting to be in the gym and working hard and working like with each other and for each other. I think the style of basketball we play is very like team oriented ball. We're always like making extra passes and cheering on each other and trying to like get the most out of each other. I definitely think that's a strength. And I just think last year, like we were just falling into our system and just figuring it out. We basically had an entirely new squad. And then we had 2 of us that had never played in a league like this that kind of like had to find our role within the team and then had to find the type of system we wanted to play. So I think this year, just like taking that and trying to play our system again and keep getting better.
Yeah, and like you say, like last season, you were a completely new team, and hopefully with this season, you all know each other, and you've not added to your team since last season. So another season of like sort of that, with that same team cohesion, you're only going to get better and better.
Yeah, I definitely think like we have a great opportunity to just keep getting better. And I know like during the summer, I had fears of like people leaving and then coming back and not feeling like they were in shape. But I think everyone stayed really disciplined, and we were really lucky that 3 of us lived together, that during lockdown we were able to just do like little group workouts and like sessions and stuff like that. So it's nice that we all came back and are feeling fresh and ready.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, at least you've stayed in shape, unlike me, who's literally just finished at McDonald's half an hour before this started. So yeah. Guys, we'll go to you next. Obviously, you're a different team a little bit compared to last year. We'll talk about your new signings later on, but what are your team's strengths for this season, and what have you improved since last season?
I think think the biggest thing, like, we are bigger than we were last year. So we've improved our size. It's a shame, really, we didn't get to finish the season up. I think we were just finding our style. Obviously, losing John to Bilbao is a big loss. Nico going back to Germany is a big loss for us. Both those guys were just so critical for our program and our team. But yeah, no, I think our strength this year is we've kept the core. So me, Harry, Kyle, and Lee, we're still here. We've added some absolute world-class pieces. I think this, and we've also, added some youth as well that was missing last year, some energy. We've got Oscar this year, who's just the Energizer Bunny, really. He makes Harry look slow in training at times. Like, Harry's looking at us like he's the old man of the team. I think our strength is, like, we're bigger. We still kept decent balance. But again, we've not had any test games. We've not had any friendlies. So it's hard to kind of pinpoint exactly what we're going to be just yet. But I think it's a steep learning curve. This season is going to be, there's so many good teams, and the season's going to be tough.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly shaping up to be a phenomenal season. Jannik, we'll go to you last. What has your team improved since last season?
We got rid of Josh, so that'll be a market. No, I'll say we've obviously lost Josh and Tom, which is going to be a big loss for any team. Luckily, we were able to pick up some pretty talented guys in Choudry Ruiz and John Hernandez. So points-wise, they're pretty similar. Picking up a 2.5 as opposed to a 3 and Choudry for Tom means that we've got another midpoint lineup, which we didn't have last year, which means takes the reliance off me. It was hard to get me off the floor last year just on a point rotation-wise, whereas now with this other midpoint lineup, it gives us a lot more depth, I think, going into European championships. It means I can probably play a bit dirtier, which is obviously how I like to play, a bit more of a hack. I don't have to worry about fouls and staying on the court. So,
more dirtier, more.
No, I'll try and behave. I'll do my best. Having Choudry as another Spaniard just makes us one step closer to, I guess, being the Spanish national team up here in Bilbao, which I'm sure is what ACS looking towards building here. But I think overall we'll be a pretty similar team. We've got a similar core group from the last pretty much my entire time here. We've had the same core team. So I think that's probably the strength, is that we're still built around the same core group.
Yeah, definitely. And then it's certainly going to be, like I said before, it's a great season for you all, and I'm really looking forward to it. Next question I've got going forward is, guys, we'll start with you first for this one. Is there anything that you look forward to specifically when you go up against another team?
Yeah, I think for me, the best thing about the reason this is the best league in the world for me is, like, every team gives a different challenge. And, there's just so many puzzles in the league for me. In years past with Ilunion, they've kind of 4 bigs, and so trying to solve them, you didn't have the kind of straight line answer of just finding a mismatch and just shooting over it, worst case, which is essentially what wheelchair basketball kind of boils down to a lot of times. So that was an interesting challenge. Then you play Bilbao, and they're playing, with Manu being a 2, so they're still playing 3 bigs, and they're playing Jannik, and they had Tom's quickness or Josh shooting. And this year they've added, Choudry Ruiz, so they're going to be able to stretch the floor on the weak side all the way to the 3-point line. That'll be interesting. Canarias, like Rose said, was it was really hard to scout them, because they do play this kind of style of play where you can't key in on one person and shut them down and expect the result. So we're always in the game. Plus the travel for Canarias is always a challenge. So it's always, each team just gets its own kind of puzzle, and seeing Terry before every game and having our chat and talk about who's older is always interesting and fun as well, and who's hurting more. So I think this year after my surgery, I think Terry's going to be hurting more than me. So we'll see about that. But yeah, there's a challenge every game, man. There's a challenge every game, and it's why it's the best league in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure Terry will be hurting after he's banged like 1 million threes in your face.
Hang on, he can talk for himself, Dylan. He doesn't need a hype man right now.
All right.
That is unreal.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, Terry, what have you got to say in response to the guys?
No, seriously, this is why the league's so great and so, you know, it's a lot of fun to play out here, because at the end of the day, it's a league where everybody knows each other. We all respect each other. We play against each other, obviously wearing our national team vest, and then obviously we play against each other when we're against Bilbao, against Ilunion, against Canarias. So we have a huge amount of respect for each other. That's why it's such a good league. Like you say, when we get on the floor, excuse me. When we obviously when we get on the floor, it's 100%. We absolutely grind it, you know, because we want to win. We want to. Obviously, you're wearing your team's colours and nothing else matters. But you know, deep down, we have a huge amount of respect for one another. We look forward to playing against each other week in, week out, and you know, and it's an honour as well, because you know we're not only playing in the best league in the world, but we're playing against the best players in the world. So it challenges yourself week in, week out. And like Gaz said there, before the game, we all have a little bit of banter. We all have a chat before the game, because, like you say, it comes down to respect. But you know, it's the best league in the world for a reason, and because of the players that we've got out here. So it's I'm sure it's going to be fun again. But I might be older than Gaz, but you know, I might be that better fine wine.
Yeah, definitely. But the question is, though, are you red or white wine?
Definitely red. Red ages better.
No, he's rosé. Pink.
It ages better. But like you were saying, you know, we all have that banter before games. It's good. It's healthy. It's good for, not only good for the players, but it's good for the clubs, because, like I said, like Albacete, they have a number of GB players, and you got players obviously now in Bilbao, and you know, it's a full mixture now. They've obviously got Jannik there. They've got a number of Spanish players. They've got Bidaideak now. They've got GB players, and Matt obviously plays for the USA. So you've got a whole mixture out here in Spain, and I think that's why it's the best league. And you know, and I think it's only going to get better. Everybody wants to come out here and play. Everybody wants to come to Spain and play in the league, because it's the number one league in the world, and make it continue, because it's every year it just gets better, and it's better for the basketball players.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly arguably the strongest league in the world. And then it's gotten stronger this season. So we'll talk a bit about how it's gotten stronger a bit later on. But Jannik, I'll go to you next. When you play specific teams, what do you look forward to the most? Like, obviously, you know, you've got your Australian brothers. Bill Latham plays for Ilunion. So what do you look forward to the most, playing different teams?
Yeah, I mean, just that variety. I think Terry touched on it pretty well. The week in, week out international competition, will play against players from other national teams. When I compare it to my previous league experience, say playing in the Australian league, we have at best maybe 3 or 4 international players in the league in any given time, the rest all being Australians. So we're not used to getting that exposure to a huge variety of other international players. And then you come to Spain, and the league is just literally full of international standards. So that's basically what it is. Rock up each week and you see who it is that you're playing against that you'll probably see at the next Paralympics or the next World Championships. You know, that's the caliber of competition. So that's basically what it comes down to. And then, you know, there's always going to be good matchups no matter what point classification you are. You know, for a low point player, you can rock up and know that there's going to be other good low point players for you to play against, for you to try and beat, and for you to learn from potentially. And then I think that's consistent all the way through mid pointers, through high pointers, and then so that's basically what it comes down to here, I think.
Yeah, and that's great to hear, Jannik. Thanks very much. Rose, we'll come to you next. I think it's fair to say that a player like yourself is breaking down barriers. Obviously, you're one of the only foreign female players that play in the league. So what do you look forward to the most when you play against the other teams in this league?
I definitely like that kind of, the fact that I am a girl, I've never played. I don't think I've played against a single other person in this league other than here. So that was last year really fun. There were a lot of people that I was excited to play against and to see in person play and to kind of get that type of exposure and just like the challenge of it. And also just like the challenge of stepping into games and not knowing how people are going to play or what they're going to do. I think like in the women's side internationally, I've gotten relatively used to like the girls I'm playing against, what teams look like. But then coming over here, I really didn't have any idea what games were going to be like, what practices were going to be like. It was just a new, challenging experience where I got to come in and, like you say, try to prove myself and have a chip on my shoulder and like play over here in a way where I can try to encourage other girls from the US to come over and play, or from different countries.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And like, is it hopefully more players, they see the standard of the league, they're paying attention from other countries. Like one thing I always try to push is to encourage people from like to watch basketball, like watch the global game, like not just in their own country and stuff like that. And then you really get a feel for it, I think. Moving on to my next question, I'm going to talk about your specific new signings. But before I do that, I just feel that I need to address there's two very, very big signings that have come over from Germany. They were very dominant in Germany for the Thuringia Bulls. That's Matt Scott and Jake Williams. I just wanted to go around all of you and ask you about those two players in particular, because obviously they're world-class players. And I think them two coming over, as well as many others, have really strengthened the league, made it more strong. So, Rose, I'll start with you for this one, since you probably know Matt and Jake the best, being from America.
Yeah, that's amazing. We've all said it. Last year, this was the best league in the world. And then you have, one of the best offensive guys and best defensive guy that is in the sport of wheelchair basketball come and add themselves to teams over here is definitely incredible. I mean, like playing against Matt Scott is going to definitely be someone I'm looking forward to. I've never gotten the chance to, and I've always wanted. He's always been like one of the more iconic players in the States. So that's going to be awesome. And then, yeah, I think also Jake, just all of us have seen 2 years ago in the championship game when he just went absolutely nuts from like the volleyball line. And I think that's going to be fun to play against, watching someone that can shoot the ball like that. I also want to see Terry and Jake have like a horse contest or like play sevens from the half court line or something fun like that.
Yeah, Terry, do you think you could beat Jake in a 3-point shooting contest?
Hey, we did have a 3-point contest last week, and I hope he's going to watch this, right, because I did win. So I was a very happy man. We did go first to 15 3 times, and it was 2-1 to me. So I did defeat Jake.
So wait, you won, yeah?
Yeah, of course, Dylan.
Okay, great.
There is only one.
Yeah, of course, there's only one, Terry Bywater. But, me being the best 3-point shooter of all time, I reckon I can beat both of you.
No, he's amazing. Like the way he shoots the ball is incredible. I've obviously only spent a couple of weeks with him. He arrived a couple of weeks ago here in Spain, but I've never seen a kid shoot the ball like him. Like it's incredible. Like every single shot from 3-point line, from a post up, from the wing, from the elbow, he just knocks everything down. But yeah, I took him on at a 3-point competition and I won, so I'm going to take that. I'm never going to play him again. That's it. I'm 1-0.
Was it like just from the 3-point contest though? Because that's boring. That's like you guys doing a layup contest.
Yeah, if we go further out, I'm not taking him on. Like we're not having a competition. It was like on the line 3-point competition. Because he's got range.
Yeah, he does have range. That's for sure.
You're definitely showing your age there, Terry. Not challenge him any further.
No, I think I'm not showing my age. I think I'm just being smart. Like I'm 1-0 up. I'm winning 1-0, so there's no point challenging him again, is there?
See, that's what it means. Be smart. Play to your strength. That's why I don't play defense.
Exactly. We played it once. I've won, so there will be no going back to that.
That's good, man. Right, and then obviously you've talked about Jake, but then just elaborate on Matt. Obviously, you and Matt, you've competed. I think you've nearly been playing the international game for the same amount of time, and what do you think Matt will bring to the league?
Yeah, I'm very, very happy that the both of them are here. Like you said, last year they did fantastic winning the Euro Cup. They were the two of the stars in Germany. Obviously, you're bringing Jake here with his offensive game, like I said before, he can knock shots down from anywhere, and he's amazing to watch. He's one of them players that you want to tune in and watch because he scores a lot of points and he makes the game look easy. But some of the shots he makes, it's incredible. Going to Matt, he's a figure of the game. He's a guy that a lot of people look up to. Just the way he is in that wheelchair, the way he pushes the floor, how fast he is, the way he plays the game. He's a player that a lot of people want to be like. For the young kids growing up in the world of wheelchair basketball, they're going to look at people like Matt Scott because the way he gets someone down the floor, there's not a lot of people that are faster in the world. The way he takes you one-on-one. And again, he's a player that he's exciting to watch. He can knock down threes. He goes inside. He plays outside. He plays for the team. Gets a lot of assists. And he's a guy that we want here. We want here in Spain because he's one of the best players in the world. And that's what we want out here. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting, but also it's going to be difficult because obviously the five that FEDDF can play now, it's pretty exciting. And I'm sure that Matt Scott's going to have a great season and bring his experience over here and be fantastic for the league. He's a true pro.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, Matt is one of the players you can do pretty much anything. If you need him to drop 40, he's dropping 40. If you need him to pass the ball, he's doing that. You can do anything. Guys, we'll go to you next. No, wait. Sorry, Terry. You finish.
Yeah, I was just saying that's what you want, and that's what any league wants. You want that X factor. You want that special player, and Matt Scott's that special player that's going to bring a lot of excitement to the league. He's going to drop 40 or 50 in a game because that's what he does. That's his game. So I just like to say that I'm very happy that Matt Scott has come to Spain and very, very lucky to have him.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't agree with you more there, Terry. Guys, we'll go to you next. I'd say that you know Matt and Jake pretty well. Obviously, you used to do a podcast with them. You played with Jake in Hamburg. And you and Matt are the same age, so you've sort of grown up in the game together, just on opposite sides. So what do you think them being here in Spain will do for the league? Yeah,
just echoing what Terry and Rose said. I mean, Rose, I think, hit it on the nose with a hammer when she called Matt an icon of our sport. I think he definitely is. He's an ambassador. He's definitely a face in our league. And like Terry said, it's only great for our league that he would choose to come here, especially coming from such a great program like the Bulls. It just shows the pull that the Spanish league and Spanish clubs have to draw these, stars of our game over. In terms of Matt coming over here, he's just going to add another element to this sport, to our league. And in terms of Jake, I know Jake a little bit better because obviously we played together in Hamburg. Everything that Terry's saying about him is correct. He's one of those guys that can just make shots. One of those guys that if you let him turn the corner, it's gone up before you've even blinked. So he's going to add another element. Man, both of them are fantastic players, and I'm happy they're here.
That's great to hear, guys. Thank you very much. Jannik, we'll come to you next. Now, I think I'm right, but I'm not 100% sure. But I believe when you were at Bama, that was the same time Jake was at Whitewater. So am I correct in thinking you and Jake have had battles before?
Yeah, my freshman year at Missouri, Jake was at Southwest Minnesota State. I think we were freshmen the same year, actually. And then he transferred to Whitewater. I transferred to Bama. We played there a couple of times. They beat us. I think he won a couple of championships his last couple of years and beat us in those. So, yeah, we played and then obviously played plenty of international basketball against each other as well. So, fully aware of what Jake can do, most certainly. And he's been able to do it forever and a day. I remember seeing him when he played his freshman year for Southwest Minnesota State. He would have been 18, 19. And I remember seeing him shoot the ball then. I tried to recruit him to come and play in Australia in our league that next year. After I saw that, I thought it was pretty special. And obviously he's gone on to do it on every stage that there is. So.
Yeah, and then what about Matt? Like, what do you think Matt will bring to the Spanish league this season?
Yeah, I mean, just purely what he gives to Bidaideak, I think that his inclusion there makes that a real powerhouse team. They were already super strong, and then you add in Matt, and he's obviously had some experience playing with George and Phil, some more of your boys, Dylan. So I'm sure you would be excited about that as well. But no, it just makes it another really, really strong squad. I think they'll be, in terms of full court speed, maybe the fastest, and I'm sure they're going to make the most of that speed and get up the floor. So there'll be some really physical games in that regard, which I'm excited to be a part of. And yeah, it's exciting to see what it does to the league. On the other hand, I was a little bit disappointed to never get an opportunity to play against that Choudhry Bulls team. We were scheduled to play against them in the Champions Cup the week after this whole pandemic started, which I was super excited about because that Choudhry Bulls team obviously had so much success over the last couple of years, and I was really excited to probably get our ass kicked by them, but we never got that opportunity, so now it'll probably just happen on an individual level here.
I know, Jannik. I wish those quarterfinals happened slightly earlier, and we could have had another sesh like we had in Bilbao. That was a fun weekend.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dylan.
Yeah, we'll just we'll leave that at that. We're not going to go into any further detail. I'm not going to embarrass myself further. But yeah,
we're professional athletes here, Dylan.
Yeah, what stays in Bilbao, what happens in Bilbao stays in Bilbao. That's for sure. Right, so yes, just to go back to Gaz on another point. Gaz, when you were at Can 2, you faced the Porto Torres side with Phil, George and Matt, which Jannik alluded to. What was it like going up against that trio, and how do you think the dynamic in that trio will change in the Spanish league, or will it change?
You know what? I think the year that I was at Can 2, it was only George and Matt. And I remember a regular season game where Matt dropped 8 threes on us. I think it was the only regular season game we lost that year. So they were special. I remember playing against Porto Torres when it was at Hamburg. And they were good. Like Jannik said, they're going to push the floor hard. They've also got Sandoval back, so that's a big signing for them. I think he was a big piece for them. But I think it'll be good. I think, obviously we know how good Phil and George are. And having Matt there is only going to, I think, bring out the best in those guys.
Yeah, definitely. And then we'll move on to your individual clubs signing. So Terry's already talked about Jake, but Terry, if you'd like to elaborate a bit more about Greg, obviously you play with him in the national team, but what is it going to be like for you having him as a club teammate?
Yeah, it's fantastic for us. I think it's an absolute great signing for the team, and obviously for everyone involved with the league, because he was MVP of the world for a reason. The little fella had an amazing world championships, and he's just a fantastic player. He's a great player to be around. He's a great player to train with, and I'm very excited to play with him because he's a player that brings a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. He loves the game of basketball, trains hard. Like I say, I've had a couple of weeks now here in Spain, and again, he's another player that he's exciting. He's exciting to watch, and he's only 3 foot at the best of times in his wheelchair, but for some of the stuff he does, it's just so exciting. And I think the biggest thing for me is some of the Spanish players and the coaching staff within the group right now. I've witnessed them over the past couple of weeks. Look at him and think, wow, this guy is real. Some of the stuff that he does in training, it's just incredible. He's a natural talent. He's amazing. And again, the Spanish league are lucky to have him in the league. But I think for me personally, he's my friend, and I love the guy to bits. I love him. I love his family. We're pretty close, and I think to have him in the group is fantastic. I don't know. I think he's going to be fantastic, but I think he might be I think he could be the key. He could be the difference to us this year, especially now we're not as big. So.
Yeah, definitely. And then just to follow up on that, you've been at Ilunion for many years now, and I think when you first came there, they sort of you were like a franchise player. And then when I interviewed Greg before, he sort of said that it was a similar sort of deal with him when he came in. They want to build the future around Greg. So how do you think they'll do that going forward? And how do you think that transition will be from Greg, a normal player, to Greg, the franchise player?
Yeah, tough question. Well, firstly, yeah, it's obviously thank you saying that for myself, because I've had a number of years out here, and I kind of guess I've done all right for the club. We've done all right over the number of years. We've won a fair amount of tournaments and King's Cups and leagues and stuff like that. So it's been a fantastic time for me. Obviously, the club's got to look towards the future, and you've got a young kid like Greg that absolutely loves the sport of wheelchair basketball. He's an absolute phenomenal player. He's exciting to watch. He may be young, but he's got experience on his side as well, because obviously he's played in the World Championships. He's become the MVP of the world. He's played in the Paralympics. He's played a number of European Championships. So I think he's a fantastic player to key in on, because he understands the game. He's a fantastic player, great shooter, young. Obviously, he's got a lot of years. And again, I think we're lucky to have him. Like most clubs out there, every single club right now are lucky to have certain players within the league. You go back to Albacete, you've got players like Gaz, Lee Manning, Harry Brown, like Harry Brown, absolutely incredible player to watch. That's who people want to watch. You want to watch players like Harry Brown. And then you can go to, we talked earlier about Matt Scott, Phil Pratt, George Bates. But then again, you go back to Rose. What did she do to Ilunion in the last game of the season? Did she remember that? When she hit 30 against us?
Yeah, but you weren't there, Terry, so it doesn't count.
Yeah. So we're very, like I say, we're so lucky to have all these players in the league. But, we can talk about the Matt Scotts, Terry Bywater's, guys, Choudhry, when you have to, like you say, Rose Hollermann that went for 30 in the last game of the league against Ilunion, which was absolutely incredible to watch, by the way. I was sat in my home. Unfortunately, I wasn't there because I was in. But it was just ridiculous to watch. This newcomer came in the league who was playing against one of the best teams in the league and went for 30. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal we're getting these young players here. It's great for the future. And going back to Greg, I genuinely hope that he has a number of years in the club, because he's an amazing player, MVP for a reason. And like I said, I hope he stays in Spain for the next 10 years. I really do.
Hopefully longer than 10 years. You never know. I mean,
he deserves it. He's amazing. Like people want to watch him play. Like I said earlier, the staff that we have in the club right now, we watched him in training, and you can see them. We're like, wow, this kid's for real. He's ridiculous.
Yeah, and Rose, I can see you got a big smile on your face there. So, how are you feeling after that compliment?
Yeah, Terry Bywater gave me a compliment. Maybe this is I should just be done here. I'm one up now. I'm just going to retire.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like I said before with Canaries, you haven't got any new signings, but you did have a few team members injured last season, and now you're sort of back at full strength. You got James McSorley back at full health, and even though he played the full season last season, I think Jorge Sanchez is even though he's on the USA men's team, I think he's got a lot of years ahead of him, and he's always on the up. Especially almost the leader of that Canadian team. So, how will your team progress forward this season?
Yeah, definitely. Getting James back, having him being healthy again, that's a huge pickup. Just the speed, the defense, the finishing, the talking, and just his total personality for a team is always going to be great to have around. He's an awesome guy and always wants to work, always wants to watch basketball. Always watching basketball, never stops watching basketball. It's absurd. And then, Jorge is definitely one of the hardest working people I've ever met. He's always in the gym, always lifting, always trying to get better. And he's constantly getting better. I think every time you see him, you're he looks stronger, he looks faster, he looks just having him come back. I think the last couple of weeks been wow, he really is as incredible as I remember. But just having someone there that wants to bring everyone along with him. He's not only trying to just work himself, but he's always making us come to the gym, picking us and up and doing an extra like court session, extra shooting session, just always trying to help us work. I think that's going to be, hopefully we can continue to like improve. And even though we won't get any new signings, we'll feel a bit like a new team if we keep getting better.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose in these times, like you say, Jorge always picks you guys up or picks teammates up. I think in these times you definitely need someone like that on your team, especially in these current circumstances.
Yeah, it goes a long ways when you have a teammate that's willing to do all those small things, especially during a pandemic, because there's times where wouldn't be able to get there if it weren't for having so many people that are willing to help us out.
Yeah, definitely. And then we'll go to Jannik next. Jannik, you touched on them slightly before, but you've picked up Bilbao have picked up 2 new signings. Choudhry Ruiz, the Spanish international, and then John Hernandez from Colombia. How do you think they will add to your team?
Yes, so far so good. John, I'll start with John. John's really impressed me so far. He's a super hard worker, super selfless player, and one of those guys that you don't really realise how good he is until you train with him, because he's really happy and content to play whichever role the team needs him to play. I played against him actually last year in a tournament in Mexico when he was playing for his Colombian club team. And that was probably the first time I saw him really have a really big role, I guess, in a team, to show his full skill set. And then you get to see a bit more of it here at practice. You see that he can carry the ball. He's a consistent outside shooter. He's a good mismatch shooter. I've always known that. And I think he's probably the biggest thing that he has is just his selflessness. He's happy to get on the dive if that's what the team needs him to do. He's happy to work in transition. He loves playing defense. So I think he's going to help us a lot just for those reasons, because he can do a little bit of everything and he's happy to do whatever we need him to do. So ultimately, I think just that cohesiveness will be great. And then Choudhry, Choudhry is pretty unreal. I only ever played against him a couple of times internationally, so I couldn't remember how quickly he actually shot the ball. I don't think it's incredible. You have to be actually on top of him before he catches it. Otherwise, he just catches and shoots it. He's been shooting the ball incredibly well the last month or so. So yeah, he brings a lot of I guess extra outside shooting and just I guess good court awareness and ball movement that'll help us as well. So as long as he's hitting, then we're a much harder team to defend, and that gives us a lot of avenues to the basket for our bigs. And Choudhry likes to get out the floor a bit as well, so maybe we might have a bit more of that. There's also been a bit of a Ruiz-Blair connection that everyone's been talking about. So we've heard that's been kind of setting shockwaves through the league. So perhaps we heard that probably why Steve even signed with Wunderl was for the Ruiz-Blair shockwaves that even reached as far as the USA.
Definitely looking forward to that 2-man game, the Ruiz-Blair connection.
Oh, man, it's going to be something else, Dylan. You'll be, as a commentary man, you should be looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. And throw my man Hasso into the mix.
Big Hasso, yeah, the big Mexican.
Big man Hasso. Love him. Legend.
Oh, right. He can't not.
Right, we'll go to Gaz next to give the final response to this question. Gaz, if you excuse me 2 seconds, I'll just get the full list of who Albacete have signed, because I don't want to miss anyone off the list. So you've signed, obviously, your GB teammate Ben Fox. Alejandro Zarzuela has made the jump across to Albacete from Ilunion. And then you've also signed Vicky Perez, Fran Lara, Almu Montel, and then the youngster Oscar Onrubia as well. So how will they add to your team this season?
Yeah, man, they've already added tons. Almu, we obviously had the year that we won the league, so she's fit right in. It's like she's never left. But yeah, like I said before, Oscar is just unbelievable with energy. Ben the same. Ben's energy in training is raised. Our intensity at practice probably, heaps, basically, like just tons and tons. And he's so good. He's so good in terms of he's shooting outside and inside. And hopefully he'll get to show some of that this year. And Vicky's shooting is just unbelievable. I didn't realize, I mean, the women's game has such amazing shooters, and we're lucky enough, like Rose is here, like she drops 30 on Ilunion. There's a few female players out there that can do that, and Vicky's definitely one of them. I mean, she's a phenomenal shooter in practice, and we're looking forward to actually seeing that in the games too. And then Fran Lara, he's just such a solid, you know, crafty, old school, just can do everything that you want in a one, you know, as a one-pointer. I've been fortunate enough to play with internationally and at club level with someone I consider the greatest one-point player of all time in Abdi Jama. And Fran makes some shots in practice that makes me think, boy, it reminds me a lot of Abdi. So that's special. And then obviously the big signing of Alejandro, he's just big, man. He's big. Like we've had some scrimmages where like Lee and him, we're splitting Lee and him up, and he's just big. Like you throw a pass to Lee, and you know, with the exception of like Rodney or Hasso, I close my eyes and I throw the ball up, and you know Lee's gonna go get it. And Ale's like just huge. Just huge. So I'm looking forward to that, man. I think it's going to be interesting to have those twin towers down there for me and Kyle to just kind of just throw up and see who can catch it and finish it, really. So that would be cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. And then just to follow up on that, like obviously Albacete have got sort of the main core like you touched on before. And then in that core, you've got some very experienced guys that played wheelchair basketball for a long time, such as yourself, Harry Brown, Kyle, and Lee. And have you guys been mentors somewhat to the young guys like Ben or Fran Lara or Oscar Rubia?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think all of us on this call, it's a bit of a responsibility to be, you know, mentor may be too formal a word, but I think you know, Ben has a great environment here to learn, and he's had that. I think at GB players, I think Terry will account to this. Like we have a big tradition of passing on the knowledge and always being open to your teammates, and I think and that just continues. And I mean, I touched on it before with Oscar May. Like he's got no hands. I don't know how he's a 1.5. He's got no fingers. The stuff he's doing in practice, you're just like. And it just makes you Oscar and Ruby is one of those players that you see and it reminds you of why you love wheelchair basketball, why it's so special. You just see someone that is completely unrestricted by their disability, just completely free and just expressing themselves in a way which is, you can't help but smile. You know, the first sort of 2 weeks I wasn't cleared to even get in my chair. And I was just there, sat on the sideline, just either shaking my head, screaming. I hurt my wrist a couple of times because I wasn't allowed to clap, and I just couldn't help but clap, seeing the stuff that I was seeing on the floor. So yeah, us experienced guys are always there for the younger athletes. But man, these younger athletes, they're not waiting for us to give them anything. You know, they're there grabbing, and we're there to support them.
Yeah, definitely, man, and that's great to hear. It's good, like you say, it's great for players like yourself to pass on that knowledge, and yeah, great to hear, mate. Ted, I'll just come back to you. Obviously, Alejandro's made the jump to Albacete, and obviously you guys have still got Pablo. So, and you guys, you know those brothers, but probably better than anyone in this call. So, how do you think they will get on facing off against each other rather than being teammates? Can you hear me, mate? Did you hear what I said?
No, just the last bit. I just broke out. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I was saying like Alejandro's made the jump to Albacete. You know those brothers better than anyone on this call. How do you think that the brothers will do facing off against each other rather than being teammates?
Yeah, $1 million question, because obviously they're so close and they played together for, must be, I don't know, 15 years they've been on the same team together. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Just two fantastic athletes. Like they're obviously known in the Spanish league for for the way they can just push up and down the floor for 40 minutes non-stop. Like, they're just beasts of the game. Like, they just don't stop pushing. Defensively, they're probably some of the best defensive players in the world, as we've seen at Paralympic level and, you know, and league level. They're just machines. Like, they just don't stop. Like, it's incredible. And I'm sure guys will say, and Jannik and Rose, like, you know, when you go up against Pablo or Alejandro, you know, you're in for a tough game because they just never give up. They're going to fight all day long. They're going to push for 40 minutes. But the two different players, you know, Pablo can maybe control the game more. He's a bit more of a ball handler. He can obviously shoot from outside more than Alejandro, but Alejandro, what he gives on the basketball court is incredible. And it's going to be a huge loss to us because we know how good he is and, you know, we know how dominant he is in the league. So, yeah, I'm obviously sad to see him leave, but on the flip side of it, it's going to be good for the club because we're going down a different route. It's going to be a different style. For them to go at it, I don't know. I think you got to ask them to the question because the two brothers aren't like, you know, they love each other a bit. You see it on the basketball court. They've got a huge amount of respect for each other, the brothers. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be difficult to watch, really, because I've never watched them play against each other. So, you know, when that ball goes up, Ilunion against Albacete, I'm sure they're both going to go at 100%. One's wearing the Ilunion vest, the other's in the Albacete vest. But obviously, at the end of it, they're going to give massive hugs, and you know, at the end of the day, the brothers. But again, lucky to have two guys in the league like them two.
Yeah, like you say, it's sad to see Alejandro leave Ilunion for the likes of yourself, but also, like I said before, it gives you new challenges of getting to go up against them at the club level. I know you've done it at the international level before, and it's been difficult, but doing that more regularly at a club level will also be good for you going forward.
No, Dylan, it's not going to be good for me. It's going to be worse. The guy's a beast. The guy's an animal. Like, he's one of the best defenders that I've ever went up against. Obviously, I train against him week in, week out. Monday through to Friday, I've been up against him. Like, the guy is a beast. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to playing against Alejandro when he plays for Albacete. Like, I've got a lot of respect for the guy. Like, you know, he's world known for his defense. How, like Gaz just said then, how big he is in his basketball chair. He's a beast. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it whatsoever. But my plan for the game against Albacete is I won't go near the blue area, which is inside the key. I'll kind of stay above the three-point line and stay away from Alejandro.
Well, that's the best area for you, mate, because you can have more space to just bang a three because there's only one. Terry Bywater.
Well, let's hear it. Go on. What is it?
There's only one. Terry Bywater. There you go. That's just for you, mate. Special treatment for you.
I'm going to get a T-shirt with it on.
Yeah. Get a T-shirt with my face on it as well. then you'll get all the ladies with my face on the T-shirt. Right. Last serious question I've got for you, and then we can have some fun. And So, last serious question. Jannik, I'll start with you. What are Bilbao's goals for the season? I know it might be hard to set a goal right now because with all the uncertainty, but try the best you can to sort of elaborate on the goals.
I think the goals are the same that they've been my entire time here. Our goal is to win the league. Whether that's always where we aim, and then what happens once we start happens. But that's certainly where we're aiming from this point. And then outside of that, Kings Cup and Champions Cup. I'm not sure I know we're in talks of potentially hosting Champions Cup or maybe at least putting in a bid for it. So that'd be exciting. And then being able to compete at it. That's probably been the one changing goal through my time in Bilbao. We've always had the goal to win the Spanish league, but then the thing that's changed is when I first got here, our goal was to win the EuroLeague 1, and then we achieved that 2 years ago. And then last year, the goal was to make the Final Four of Champions Cup, and we were sort of on our way there. And then that's obviously carried on to this year is to make it into as far as we can down the Champions Cup road. It probably going to be a different format this year. If it's going to be 8-team tournament in one location, that would be a little bit more old school from what I've heard, which would be an exciting thing to be a part of. So, yeah, ultimately our goal is to win as many games of basketball as we can and win as many championships as we can. So it's always been the way. And I think if you ask any athlete, that's going to be their goal, and pretty much any program is going to say the same thing. So.
Yeah, definitely. And if you win the bid to host it, send me an invite to be the commentator, all right?
I'll do what I can, Dylan. I'll pull a few strings for you, mate.
Legend.
We're going to have to work on some more unbiased calls, though. I feel like this Terry Bywater.
Oh, here we go.
Favoritism.
Here we go. Oh, you're a
anyone from Great Britain, Dylan. There's not a lot of Australian love.
Here we go.
Bill Latham. There's only one Bill Latham. That's what I want to hear.
Okay, mate. But, mate.
Bill Latham has been a figurehead of Ilunion for 10 years in counting.
Yeah, Terry Bywater has been a figurehead for Ilunion 12 years in counting. So.
It's because I put Bill under my wing. I'm helping him. Bill is there for the future.
Well, Dylan needs to help him as well. Dylan, do you hear that? You need to help Bill as well. Help out his public image. He's not going to do it. Bill's not going to talk himself up. He needs someone to do it for him, Dylan.
Hey, I love Bill. I love all the Aussies. I love you and Tom and Bill. And
we just don't hear it, Dylan. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
You know I love you and Sean Norris. And Sean Norris, what a legend of the game. Right? But, mate, I love everyone in the game. And if people can't see that well, then they're more blind than Stevie Wonder, if I'm being honest.
All right.
Shit, my fucking controllers fell off the table now, Jannik. Cheers.
I'm sorry, man. I've got you worked up.
Bill Latham is an absolute legend. Like, he knows that. Like, he's one of the greatest players in the world. He always has been. But he just keeps himself to himself. He's like, I don't know who could... He's like a Kante of the football. He's a legend, but just keeps himself to himself. One day, Dylan will say, there is only one Bill Latham.
One of the best-looking men in wheelchair basketball as well.
Yeah, he's a handsome bloke.
He's a gorgeous man. That's facial scarring is just really...
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say there's only one Bill Latham because that's reserved for Terry. But I'll think of another call for Bill. Right, I'll get back to you on that. Look, I like making everything personal, right? So I'll think of a personal one for Bill, and I'll hopefully have it by Champions League. But don't go saying, "Oh, you're a GB fanboy" and all that, because I love everyone in the game. Yeah.
If you call that next year in the Paralympics, Dylan, I'm going to get a tattoo of it on me. I promise you.
Okay. Paralympics might be a step too far, but we'll see how we go. I've only been doing it 2 years, so we'll see how we go.
You deserve it. You deserve it, mate.
What a 2 years, Dylan. What a 2 years.
I know, mate. So, and it's not even that. Like, some of the sessions I've had after tournaments, Jesus Christ.
Hey!
I ain't gonna get into detail about it, but Jesus Christ.
Keep it professional, Dylan.
Mate, it's a miracle how I'm still here. Wait, who said what? Someone said that. Right, let's get back on track. Rose, we'll go to you next. You've been quite quiet through all that. But what are Gran Canaria's goals for the next season?
That's same as Jannik said. I think all of us will probably have the same goal. You have to set it high, like wanting to win the league, compete at King's Cup, even if it doesn't pan out that way. I think like coming in third last year was really cool for us. I think we want to do that again and maybe take some games from Albacete and Ilunion again.
Oh.
Yeah, you drop another 30 points on them in that.
I don't know, man, but hopefully win some games.
32.
32 with Terry, and you'll shoot a 3 in his face.
Hello.
I
don't know, man. Not with the men's ball. Can I get a girls' ball for a little bit and shoot some threes?
Nah, I've always thought you were a better shooter with the 7.
I mean, maybe at 15 feet, I feel more comfortable with the 7. But if you're gonna push me behind the 3-point line, got teeny little hands, man.
Didn't you pull off that crazy shot in Real? What was it? Was that in the final? Like you're like you were going back. It was like a Dirk Passavan shot. You were going back, and you launched the three up, and it went in.
Yeah, and I think that's the one where everyone was like, no, and I guess I was a little bit of a rebellious shot. I'm glad I went in.
Yeah, good. Right, we will go to Gaz next. Gaz, are you able to elaborate on some of Albacete's goals?
Yeah, man. Well, first goal would be to keep Rose under 30.
Hey.
Yeah, I think that's the one. I'd at this point now, after all of that, you know, I don't care if we lose to Canaria as long as Rose doesn't drop 30 on us. That's the critical thing.
We're supposed to be like girl power, like build me up.
Yeah, 28 and a win. You take that.
Yeah.
All right. It's a little bit different this year, you know. Like, I don't know if King's Cup's definitely happening. It's also no Final Four. So in years past, the you know, it's always just been getting to those weekends and then winning in those weekends. Whereas this year, it seems like it's going to be a straight league. So every weekend essentially is a final. Every weekend is a must-win. So it's going to take a slightly different type of focus, I think, this year for our team. But yeah, man, win every competition you enter, but now it's like win every weekend, as opposed to just the final, you know, the final dance. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's great to hear, mate. And I think, it's slightly disappointing not having like a Final Four and stuff like that. But I think, like you say, like having it as a straight league, it ups the stakes, so it should be really good.
Yeah, I think the only thing, I don't know what the other guys think, but for me, like the only thing that's wrong as an athlete in our league is that we don't have a playoff like Germany. I think Germany do that right. And when I've played in Italy, the same way, you know, best of 3 series, you can kind of make adjustments and get there. So it's a different look, because in years past, it just became kind of 2 cup competitions to win the title. It was King's Cup, and then there was the Final Four weekend. So I would love for there to be a playoff, you know, best of 3 or best of 5 or whatever it is, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I know we talked a lot about it, say 2 years ago when Bilbao had a disastrous Finals 4 run. We lost to Albacete by 40 and then Bidaideak by 40, like in the semi-final in the bronze medal game. And for you to look at your 8-month season come down to one weekend and you blow it in those 2 games and not get an opportunity to learn from a loss like that, because in the regular season, I think we maybe swapped the games that year. And then I know with Bidaideak, we swapped games, and then you have a bad weekend that we were obviously a long way from our best that weekend and got blown out. But if we have obviously, as you say, a playoff series, you get an opportunity to learn from that, to make adjustments and to see who's better over a spread of games. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that would really give the league give you a lot more value for the 8 months of hard work that you've put in to get to a certain spot.
Yeah, definitely. And then, Rose, have you got anything to respond to that?
I've never played in a league like that before. I think it would be fun to be able to do like a 3-game, 5-game series. Then you make sure that the best team's the one that's coming out on top as well. Sounds fun.
Yeah, definitely. And then, Terry, what about yourself?
Yeah, as always, you know, the team's goals are obviously to try and win everything that's in front of us. We haven't done so bad over the past 10 years. We've won a fair few leagues and a fair few King's Cups. But yeah, I go back to what Gaz is saying and what Jannik's saying and stuff. But it's a difficult season. It's a difficult year. Everything's up in the air, and I think the best thing that we can do as players and in the Spanish league right now is just do it and everybody proud, and just try and finish the league safe and healthy, and you know, it'd be fantastic to have a playoffs at the end of it all, and it'd be great to have a King's Cup. But you know, right now regarding the COVID situation. Everything's up in the air, and I'm just very proud and happy that the league's going to start next week. It's been a tough couple of months for everybody, so I just can't wait to get going. I think for me personally, representing the club, CD Ilunion, we're always thinking in the win. We're always thinking in winning the league, winning the King's Cup, and obviously trying to do our best in Europe. So, but again, it's a different year. It's a different look. It's going to be more challenging. It's going to be more difficult. I'm going to be going up against Rose, and she's going to score 30, and Gaz is going to score 40, and Jannik's going to stop me from scoring and won't let me get a mismatch. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I think the biggest thing we can say is stay healthy. We're lucky the league's starting, and hopefully it finishes with no problems.
Yeah, hopefully, and obviously in this time you can't really guarantee anything really because it changes day by day, week to week. But hopefully it goes off without a hitch. Right, now let's make this last question fun. Jannik, I'm going to go to you first. Put you on the spot. You want to call anyone out, or call in a specific opponent out, or a specific team?
Well, I mean, probably the easiest one would be to start with this weekend coming. We've got Gaz's boys at home, so I think all I can do is remind him of how he and his boys went last time they were in Bilbao. The last game of basketball he played, and any of us played, was that game here about 7 months ago. And I think if he just needs a bit of video footage, I can send him a link to the game, just a bit of a reminder, refresh. That's all. I'm happy to put out there. Week 2, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. I might send George and Phil, your boys, a little message for that one, see if they're up to the challenge.
Yeah, definitely. And then, guys, I believe you've never ever won.
All I'm going to say is,
hang on, guys, hang on. I believe you've never won on Bilbao's court. Is that correct?
Right. I'm not sure. But these things is always a first. But all I know is if I'm playing on the weekend, there's going to be a lot of mouse in the house. And Jannik knows what I'm talking about.
I knew that was coming.
It's match.
What's mouse in the house? Elaborate on that, guys.
I don't know. I'll let Jannik tell you. It's a pet peeve of Jannik's, actually.
Yeah, look, it just brings back bad memories from an unsuccessful Rio campaign. Is all I'll say. It hits me in a weak spot in my soul.
This match.
So when you got destroyed by 20?
I don't know what the final score was, Dylan.
Right, Jannik, before I move on, I talked to Mike Loprince, another Aussie of yours, in Germany, and he said he told me to take the piss out your forehead. So what's all that about?
I don't know. Don't know what you want me to say about that. This is just genetics. I think I have a really nice forehead. There's plenty of it to appreciate. So,
mate, I think you and me in the same boat, right? I had my hair cut a couple of weeks ago, right? And it was shorter than this, believe it or not. Like, look at this. Big fat 5 head.
Yeah, I've been told I've been going bald for a long time, but it's not true. I've just been born with a really large forehead that looks like I've got a receding hairline, but it's just a large forehead. So at least I've got that in my favour, that I'm not going bald.
Well, Murray Tresidor would certainly be a big fan of you if you went bald.
Well, he's a big fan of me anyway, mate. We grew up about half an hour from each other.
Nice one. Teddy,
years and half an hour.
What was it like, Teddy, going bald in London? Was that a good look?
Yeah, that was a choice though, Dylan. Like, I just tried to keep the skinhead going, and yeah, but that was a disaster. Like, I'm never going back there. Never.
Sorry, my mic was muted there. Anyone you want to call out, Teddy?
No, I guess I've got nothing to say, Dylan. Like, the numbers say it all. How many King's Cup we've won? How many leagues we've won? I've got nothing to say. Every year the league gets more difficult. More players come over and join the party. But yeah, Ilunion just keep on winning, don't we? we just get the job done. I think it's been pretty spectacular what we've done over the past 10 years. I wouldn't say it's taken for granted, but I guess people think, you know, when we do win the league or we do win the King's Cup, people, Ilunion won again. But I think it's pretty incredible what we've done. So, yeah, let them challenge, let them talk, but I'm up for the challenge again, and hopefully we win the league, we win the King's Cup, and Rose Hollermann next year will only go for 15 and not 30.
Yeah. So essentially what you're saying is you don't need to talk shit about anyone. They just need to talk shit about you and then back it up. Well,
that's the thing. Yeah, they can talk the talk, but you've got to walk the walk, isn't it, I guess? I've had an amazing 10 years here. We've done fantastic. We've won loads of leagues and obviously the past 10 King's Cups, and it's been pretty crazy what we've done, but who's going to challenge us? Like, we've had a lot of close calls. Last year was the closest. We played our 30, obviously, and I think we won by I think it was 5 or 6 points. Continue to win, so it's coming back to Ilunion, Dylan. That is only one.
There's only one. But do you know what you need to do? Do you know what I think would make Ilunion better? So there's this one pointer going around, right? From Scotland, you might know him. He's called Dylan Cummings. Doesn't play defence, but he can score the three pretty well. So I think you need to sign him, and then you'll be unbeatable for like ever until I'm old and can't play anymore.
Randy, tomorrow, but you just said you don't play defence. I don't play defence, so we can't have two players in the same team that don't play defence. We've got Jake and Greg now that are shooting the ball. We need you to defend, Dylan. You have to defend.
Nah, mate, nah. Like, Greg and Jake can deal with all that. Like, you say about Jake and Greg shooting, right? If I was to come to your team, they'll all be going to me 100% of the time. And
but I'd sign all of these. Look, I'd sign Gaz, but Gaz is too old now. Like, we can't sign him. He's breaking down. Jannik, like, one of the best one-pointers in the world, but he fouls too much. Rose, well, unfortunately, we can never sign her because she went for 30 against us, and we lost. And then we go back to you. Yeah, you say there's only one, and you come from Scotland, and you can shoot the three, but you have to defend because I don't defend, so you can't play on the same team as me. Do you shoot the three better than me?
Potentially. I think I definitely have the best banner. So with me, you get the banner.
I'll speak to the coaching staff tomorrow.
Oh yeah, speak to Miguel. See what he says. All right, moving on. Rose, you got anyone to call out?
I think I'm excited for Albacete and trying to beat them because last year we didn't get a win on them. I think that was the only team that we didn't. So definitely excited for that. Also, always really excited to play against Lee Manning because I think he's remarkable. I've never seen like a big guy that can move his chair as well as he does. And then always trying to beat Ilunion.
Yeah, definitely. Try and go for 40 this season, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, and then guys... Say again, Teddy.
Rose is not going for 30 if I'm playing. Trust me.
He didn't say 30, Terry. He said 40.
I said 15.
15.
Right, and then sorry, was someone going to say something there? No?
No, I was just being like naughty.
Okay. Guys, pressure's on you. Anyone you want to call out?
Mate, to be honest, no. Yeah, like, it's a shame last year didn't get to play in the Final Four in the league to see who would have won the league. Obviously, let the King's Cup slip away. And it's a shame we won't get a chance to go again this year. But it's a 1-1 for me. It's a one title here, and Ilunion got us back the year after. So I'm looking forward to getting the title back this year. That's about it.
Yeah, mate, definitely. And I think you've certainly got the potential to do that with the squad you've got. But I'm really surprised none of you have called out Madiba. So what's all that about?
It's not fair, mate. They're not on the court. It's not fair.
But mate, like, I felt bad about not having someone from Adiba on, but then then Jannik would have gone. He would have gone, oh, you got all your GB boys and all that shit, and I would have been like, right, nah, I'm only having 2 of them on.
I mean, the breakdown's already in their favour. It's a 60% of this call is GB.
Don't even start with that, right?
You're trying to sign yourself to Ilunion.
Well, isn't Australia still just a British colony anyway? So it's
just in case you win the league.
And Jannik, you say, oh, it's 3 GB. No, it's not. It's 2 GB, 1 Australian, 1 American, and 1 Scottish. The best country in the world.
And then again.
Say again, Terry?
Will is the only non-British person on this call.
See, we're all staying quiet about Madeira, right? Because in case, like, if they do win the league and they smash it, like, we can't go back on what we said, can we? Like, legit, like Phil and George and Matt could smash the league. So I'm just going to put that out there. So if they do, hands up, fair play to them. I ain't saying anything about them.
Right, okay, fair enough. I did think it was a bit weird how no one called them out. So, but anyway.
I guess it's like saying Manchester City won't win the Premier League. Like, they're that type of team. I ain't saying nada.
Fair enough. Well, guys, this call was meant to be a maximum of an hour. We've probably gone way over that. I've got no idea what we're on, but it's been a great laugh. We've had some good banter, and I appreciate it. Love all you guys. Even though Jannik thinks I only love GB players, I do love all of you guys. So, yeah. And to prove how much I love Jannik, I'll buy him a beer next time I'm in Bilbao, and Hasso as well. My main man Hasso, what a legend.
Big Hasso, he is the king.
Yeah. Just before I go, Dylan.
Yeah.
I just want to say that if Albacete, if they don't win the league, they've failed big time. Okay.
He's not wrong. Every year you don't win the league, you fail. So yeah, I'm with him. But if Ilunion don't win the league and the Champions Cup this year, it's just awful, terrible.
As always.
Exactly.
As always. If Bilbao don't finish second, they've failed, Dylan. They've failed.
Come on, mate. Give us the same expectations. Right? We don't win.
If Canarias don't make the top 4, they have failed big time.
Top 4, that's all you're going to give us? Damn.
Exactly, because when Ilunion win the league, we've just done it again. Okay? Enough said.
All right, guys. Well, I think...
Albacete, don't fail.
Right. Well, as I say, it's been great to have you all on. Like I said, love you guys on and off the court. And, yeah, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. To the viewers at home, I hope you've really enjoyed it. And, yeah, stay tuned to Rollt for more exciting content. Thank you very much.